Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chill, and this is episode number 156. And this week I'm joined by my co host, Scott, aka Scobie1. What's going on, bro?
Not much. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, welcome back, man. I think you missed the last episode we did. We didn't do one last week due to no Super Bowl, but yeah, it's been a little bit since we had you on the show.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no Roger this week. Just me and you got a lot to tackle and get to name the episode literally the PlayStation episode because there are a lot of big hitters coming out of PlayStation this week, whether good or bad. Mostly bad again, but but we're gonna dive right into that here soon. But nonetheless, we do want to talk about what we've been playing over the last few weeks here. Um, doesn't look like you really been playing much. Just a little bit of mobile gaming, Pokemon Go, Pokemon TCG, and then obviously your competitive stuff with PUBG and Marvel Rivals. Anything you wanted to highlight there on your list specifically? Anything big happen?
So PUBG actually just got a new update. It was update 34, I believe. Introduced 1v1.
Oh yeah,
So that's fun, and thank Christ that doesn't affect my season stats. Because I've won. It's usually 50-50, but man, they're like 9 second rounds. You just get absolutely obliterated.
damn.
Like and I've also done some obliterating, but that's it. Other than that, I've been on a real big hiatus as far as the gaming goes. Just taking care of some things here personally, or like just wanting to be out of the office for a little bit and just not
Hmm.
not be stared at a screen when 85% of my life is on a screen. I have to I have to chill out every once in a while. But other than that, I've just been kind of plugging along. Pokemon trading card game. I finally got my superior
Oh yeah.
and finished out the mythical island pack. So got all that, and then now I'm working on the space time Smackdown.
Yeah, that one's not too bad. I think I have like over 100 cards now for that set.
Mhm.
Slowly but surely been racking those up. But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of backlash, which me and Roger covered on the last episode about the whole trading thing. Like I haven't traded yet, but it just seems like it's a really fucked up system, and hopefully they can figure it out. But see, you've been on hiatus of playing games. I have done the complete opposite, as you can see here on my list. I have probably about like 10 games, and I beat five. Did beat Star Wars Jedi Power Battles, which mean you were going to do a review episode whenever you get that one done, because it's a really short game. Like it was like 5-6 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Another game I beat was Shady Part of Me. That was a recent game added to Game Pass. That one was pretty cool. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with it, but you basically play as this like little girl who's like her like best friend is her shadow, and like you play. I'm trying to get some Shady Part of Me, some gameplay up on screen here in a second. But
Yeah, I actually saw that on Xbox Game Pass when I was looking through some stuff earlier, and I was like, oh, that seems right up Vic's alley.
yeah, it seemed pretty cool. I was like, I don't know if I want to check it out, but I noticed that it was like a shorter game. Got some
Mm.
gameplay up here on the stream for anybody who wants to take a look at that. But definitely a lot of puzzles, and you kind of like work together with your shadow to progress the level. Um, but it was really basically getting over like certain fears and stuff like that. And you just kind of, it's like really cute, quick story, honestly. And funny enough, like another game that I played this week was like another shadow based game was called Contrast. So like Contrast came out a long time ago. And this one you're playing as like this aunt to this smaller kid figure, and like you can go into the shadow realm, which is interesting, and like manipulate the world in the shadows, and like all of the other characters in the game are also in the shadows, and only you and this little girl are like real humans. It's a very interesting concept on that. I'll get some gameplay up of that real quick, but yeah, that was Shady Part of Me. Fun game on Game Pass right now, so definitely go check that out. But let me see if I can get some gameplay up of Contrast, another game that's on Game Pass. It's been on there for quite some time, and I was just like, this game was also another quick experience. It was a 3 hour, 3.5 hour game, so it's nothing too crazy. Um, let's see here. Yeah, so this game actually came out 11 years ago. So like this game kind of shows its age, but it kind of ages really well because it kind of just looks like a small indie game from today's life. Um, but yeah, overall, really fun experience. It can't really complain about any of these games. Honestly, there wasn't like any hiccups No like gameplay or mechanics that didn't really feel bad. I think I gave these games like a 7 out of 10. I think so. They're just like good game. They didn't really do anything over the top. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They didn't do anything excellent.
We
Even
just
this,
got in there, did the thing, and then called it.
yeah. So yeah, it was definitely fun to get in there and beat some games. Because I mean this year isn't about beating a certain amount of games. It just so happens to be the I was just trying to trying to get through a certain time because Avowed comes out in a couple of days and I didn't want to start another big game when I know Avowed's going to be a big game. That is my next big
Mhm.
game. Because I did put Metaphor on pause because I don't know if I can fully get into the game that I want like how I want to in that one just because like there's just too much going on. It's just doesn't really seem my cup of tea at this point. Then I may circle back to it. But nonetheless, it was a great game. It's just I don't know if it's my kind of game.
Mhm.
But let's see, what else did I beat? Uh, also beat Monument Valley 3. That was on the phone. iOS. That's technically a Netflix game now since they bought out that studio. I beat the first two over the years, like when they first came out on the iPhone, and I noticed the third one came out. I was like, yeah, let me beat this one real quick. Another short experience, like 3 hours. So that was fun. And then I did play some Walking Dead, the season two. I beat that one and actually 100% all the achievements on that, which I think are intentional. I don't think you can miss any of them, but if you can, whoops. I mean, I just got it by accident. So that was pretty awesome. And then that led to me starting The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, which is just a continuation of that story, just in a new game. But just one other game I wanted to cover. I'm not going to cover all of them here on the list because I have a really long list this week. Is Sniper Elite Resistance. This is a
Good.
game that me and
I was gonna
Roger
ask about that.
yeah, me and Roger are playing through that right now. We actually beat another mission today, and it's just like the first day, and then partially of the second day that we played, we were trying to be like real stealthy and stuff like that. But I realized stealth was just not working out for us. And then the back half of that day, and then today, we were just guns blazing, killing absolutely everybody. We were like on the graph that it shows you like what type of play style you play as. We are at the top right corner, and that's assault and lethal. Like that is that. There was no non lethal. There's no stealth. Nothing. It was just pure chaos. But it's a really fun experience because like also in this game, this is my first Sniper Elite game. Didn't know that this happens in other ones, but random players can join your match and become like counter snipers, and like you basically get into this 2v1 gunfight. And you don't know where they're at unless you pick up like the phone in the game, and you can just like it highlights their area where they last were at. Um, and then like you're just like hunting down, and it's pretty awesome to like once you get into like sniper fights across the map, or even if they pull up on you and just laser you down with like the Tommy gun, it's like fuck, yeah. So it's definitely been a lot of fun, and I think we're about halfway through the game, give or take. I think we beat 4 missions. I think there's 9, so we're almost about halfway done with the game
Okay.
already. But yeah, game it's on Game Pass as well, so definitely check that out. But that is everything that I really wanted to cover on my games list. Anything else you wanted to cover before we move on to the industry news?
Not really. Haven't played much. I'm just looking forward to Avowed dropping,
Mhm.
and then whenever Baldur's Gate's last patch comes out.
Yeah, Roger was so excited. He has often like 9 days straight or whatever. Um, and he was like, "You know what I'm gonna be doing?" I was like, "Playing Avowed." He's like, "You damn right." So yeah, I know he's looking forward to that, and we'll be talking about that on the next episode. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on to the industry news because we got quite a few topics this week. All right, man. Kicking it off here with some updates in regards to, unfortunately, more layoffs. Iron Galaxy, the developer behind Killer Instinct, has laid off 66 employees. Bandai Namco has also laid off 120. Hi-Res Studio laid off 30, and Crytek laid off about 15% of their staff. And but by them doing this, they also had to put Crisis 4 on hold, which is unfortunate because that is a great series. So hopefully they can get that all figured out and continue development on that game. But any thoughts on the more layoffs that we're covering?
It's just a bummer to see. It's it's unfortunate that it's a fact of life, but it is. And it's just one of those things that never makes you feel good. It's never yummy when you're talking about it. Um, but that's just the nature of the beast at that point.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah,
you're not making money, you can't pay your people. I mean, it sucks, and it's very very unfortunate.
yeah.
So
Well, let's talk about a company that has been resurrected after being laid off.
Yeah, you want to know what's not going away? Rooster Teeth. I love this because I'm sure anybody who loved the Red versus Blue series when that first came out, I mean, wholeheartedly addicted to that
Mhm.
when it first dropped, and it was so fun. And about 9 months ago, Rooster Teeth said that they were going to be done. Well, turns out that the brand's original creator, Bertie Burns, has his own studio called Box Canyon Productions, founded in 2023. Well, he decided to buy it back, and he took it back, and so now Bernie Burns has saved Rooster Teeth, and they are going to be they are not going away just yet, it would seem. So a lot of its like remaining assets and everything like that have also been acquired by Bernie Burns. Um, and hopefully Box Canyon Productions, maybe they'll do something with it. Who knows? But just a little bit about Box Canyon is Box Canyon Productions was founded in 2023 by Bernie Burns, and it says it is dedicated to innovative storytelling and high quality content across various media platforms. Their Morning Somewhere podcast debuted in 2024 on Spotify at #1 in the UK, Australia, and Canada, and at #2 in the United States. So it's just nice to see that it's back. It was one of those things you kind of forgot about it after a while. They've been around for 21 years
Yeah.
now, and you kind of forget about it. And then now that you realize that they're coming back, they're not leaving. It's just spectacular.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks more like
awesome.
a puma.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that they're being brought back. I remember when we had to cover them closing, I was like, man, this sucks.
It
And
was
then
yeah. It was
it's
sad.
like
Sad days.
all the OG platforms of like getting your game content back in the day were being shut down,
Yeah.
like G4 and Rooster Teeth and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But glad to see that Rooster Teeth is back and excited to see the future of them.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I can't wait.
All right, man. Let's talk about another studio here that claims some independence, man, from their publisher. So this is Jump Ship Studio. These are the devs behind Somerville. A lot of these guys left a previous developer to create their own company here, behind the games Inside and Limbo from back in the day. Somerville was an awesome game, but glad to see that they're getting their independence back with this from Thunderful Split, and they're being bought up by, or like um, bought up by another company, but they're gonna still like have their own independence. They're just gonna have like more of like a
Mm.
cash flow system. So awesome to see there.
So, would you say that they jumped ship?
Boo,
Boo! Boo! Hiss! Everybody
this
boo this
man.
man.
But yeah, man. So that's awesome to see with Jump Ship Studio, and excited to see what their next project is. But nonetheless, let's talk about something that needs to be booed.
Yeah, so Roblox got two hot topics coming out of Roblox on this fine Sunday evening. The first one is that the SEC has confirmed that they are part of an active investigation um, into not just Roblox, but games in like that kind of genre, a little bit. Um, so it's part of an active SEC, that's the U.S. United States Securities and Exchange Commission's investigation. In response to a Freedom of Information Act request, the commission explained they couldn't share correspondence pertaining to Roblox, saying it would cause harm to the ongoing enforcement proceeding. But uh, what we have here is that there's some claims here, um, and I'll pull. This is direct from. This is actually just direct from MSN. Is such an eye-popping user engagement is the platform's lifeblood, as these figures greatly influence Roblox's share price. But these sky-high numbers perturbed shareholders and government officials, leading to one of myriad accusations aimed at Roblox Corp. In recent months, one scathing October report from now defunct Hindenburg Research claimed the corporation fails to adequately protect young gamers from online dangers. This has been something that we've covered this many times. The online gambling, the young gamers. Like, how do you protect? How do you protect the younger kids in video games like this, and in I would say environments like this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's always something there. But it says it couldn't protect them from online dangers and including predatory users. The release also claims that Roblox Corp is, quote, lying to investors, regulators, and advertisers about the number of people on its platform, inflating the key metric by 25 to 42%. And then there's engagement hours, which is another key metric, which is inflated by an estimated 100%. Yeah, so they took all that, and that's bad news bears right there. So they're actually they're looking into an investigation is basically potential securities fraud a little bit here. That's what we're reading here. But Roblox won't go down without a fight, even if that fight is with someone completely else, because because Roblox is suing a third-party company owned by Player Auctions. Uh, Essentially, what is going on here? Roblox filed a suit in hope of preventing its gamers from using the online marketplace that was run by Player Auctions in Los Angeles to buy and sell in-game assets outside of the Roblox platform. So they're trying to keep that in the Roblox platform, and uh, marketplaces like Player Auctions has been allowing players to go outside of that, to buy and sell things for real money, and then bring that back into the Roblox game. The suit focuses on the virtual currency of Roblox, which is Robux, and other virtual assets earned by Roblox players when they're playing the games. Those in-game virtual assets actually have value, like monetary value, but according to Roblox's terms and services, gamers can only spend or trade them on the Roblox platform. And so going outside of that really actually breaks the terms of service, which I'm sure we've all read every single time.
every
So
line.
yeah, lots of news coming out of Roblox.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I guess like Player Auctions, they allow the buying and selling of digital goods for World of Warcraft, Fortnite, Neopets, Grand Theft Auto
Mhm.
5, and obviously Roblox. And I'm like, the one that surprises me the most got to be Neopets, but because
Well,
this
that's
is
where I get all my Neopets shit. That's where I
right.
get all my shit from Neopets.
They're like
I don't go anywhere else.
this third party marketplace occupies a gray area, saying that they're not necessarily illegal, but using them often violates the terms and services. So it's like they're not really doing something illegal, but it's a
Yeah,
loophole right now.
yeah. It's not illegal,
It's just
but
frowned upon, you know.
you wouldn't you wouldn't go out telling everybody you're doing it.
Right.
So,
All
love
right.
that.
So one more industry topic here. This one was pretty interesting. I think Roger dropped this into the Discord for us, saying that Steam has banned all games that require you to watch advertisements before playing them, and I'm like, thank fucking god. Like that, I hate when those kind of games even appear like at the iPhone. So like, hopefully this can become like more of like a wide scale, like cross the industry like move. But glad to see that Steam is taking the first steps to
Yeah,
litigate this.
absolute chef's kiss. 100%.
Yeah, advertisements should not be in any games, paid or or free, because you're still probably paying for something in the game. Yeah, that's like getting what was pissing people off about Netflix, like with their WWE. They're like, I have the ad-free version of Netflix, but why are there all of these advertisements in my WWE show?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what the fuck's going on? Or it's like when Prime Video was its own thing. It was no ads, nothing like that. And now they're like, well, no, you get ads, but if you get a different tier of Prime Video,
Yeah, everyone's including like
now you
the
won't get ads. And
ad-free.
it's like I already had that shit. I was grandfathered into that. And then no, you won't.
Not
Okay,
anymore.
not anymore.
It's
Not any
just
fucking more. You won't.
shit blows. But shout out to Steam for doing that. But yeah, man, that's all the industry news we got for you this week. We're going to go ahead and move on to the gaming news because we do got a lot to get to. All right, buckle up, folks, because you're going to be hearing my voice for the next two topics here. Kicking it off with Xbox. Some announcements. They announced that Age of Empires 2, the Definitive Edition, and Age of Mythology Retold are the next games coming to the PS5. So it's just one after another. I mean, the last episode that we were on, me and Roger covered Forza Horizon 5 was moving over to the PS5, and now these are the next two to follow suit. Also, Xbox is not allowed any X-Men games on their platform until at least 2036 due to Sony and Insomniac's agreement signed with Marvel due to the Wolverine game that's coming out. And I'm just like, these kind of deals really hurt the games industry market. like through and through. And I wonder, like, obviously, like with Spider-Man, for instance, from Insomniac, those games didn't come to even PC until one, two, three, like a couple of years later. So, like, I wonder if that's built into the contract, so like it can still at least come to the PC market, or if it's like straight across the board, like, nope, just PlayStation, and then hence, I think that's really going to kill Insomniac because I already know it costs 300 million, $400 million, and they sell so on their platform. They don't really sell the best until it comes to the PC market. But I think PlayStation got to get on board with what Xbox is doing and starting to put their games on all platforms, no matter where. But
Yep.
just my opinion on that one.
And I agree with it. Yeah, at that point.
All right. So with the announcement with the Age of Empire games coming to PS5, they did announce the Age of Empires 4 will receive 2 expansions later this year. So I'll be on the lookout for those. Um, Overwatch 2, I really wanted to cover this one because this is again potentially some issues. I'll just get the trailer that's playing for you here for the upcoming season. But the main part that I really wanted to take away from this is that loot boxes are returning, and I can't see in any way, shape, or form how this is even good. One, the game is dead. Two, you're going to kill the rest of the game because nobody likes loot boxes. I don't think they're going to be executed well, and these are just going to be causing issues. Like, I want to know exactly how these are handled because there's going to be a lot of legal issues. I personally think. But what's your takes on the loot boxes returning to Overwatch 2?
I'm just surprised they actually spent the money and effort to do anything with Overwatch 2, let alone do loot boxes, which are historically not awesome. I think they're just trying to milk the last like 10 players that they have.
Right,
It
because
might be
obviously
20.
everyone
I don't know.
migrated to Marvel
Um,
Rivals.
yeah, eh, dead game,
Yeah, I mean, I do
dead
like that
game,
new perk
dead
system that
process.
they're
Not a
implementing.
fan of it.
Like the new perk system that they implemented, like you'll get perks throughout the match. Like here, like pick your perks and whatnot. It seems pretty cool, but
Yeah,
I doubt
it's
it's
just
enough to bring people
it's
back.
like a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's nothing here is something that's gonna bring players back unless they were just waiting for like something to happen. Um, I don't think any of that's really
I like
enough to do that. I'm not gonna be playing it. Probably not Roger. I couldn't imagine him playing that. But maybe I'll have a foot in my mouth here. Um, yeah, it's
yeah,
game's
it's
dead. Nobody cares about the game right now. I mean,
right,
I don't think this is gonna make people care about the game. Uh, it showed up in our news, and we are already still actively shit talking it
right, and that's
because of
never a
what they're
good
doing.
sign.
Perks would have been cool when the game was launched
Right,
or shortly thereafter.
not in season 15 or 16,
Not
whatever they're in.
yeah, not in season 76. Like yeah, that's something that should have been done way earlier. And it just as cliche as it is, it's just too little, too late.
Yeah, I do hope that if the loot boxes have to be in the game, that they are at least free. Like there's no paid because otherwise you are just gambling. Like that is literally the you're gambling.
Hmm.
And as long as it's free, then it's not. Like that's actually part of the issue with like not it's like indirectly I guess with Pokemon TCG Pocket is like you can pay for the premium, you get more packs, and like you can buy the hourglasses, which then you can use the buy packs, and the packs are randomly like that's almost like gambling in a way. Um,
I mean, I would venture to say no because the entire it's a trading card game. It's not. I
mhm,
wouldn't say it's gambling. It's not. It's not something that like might help you or hurt you. It's like the whole purpose of the game is opening random packs of cards and getting random cards in them.
yeah,
And then even with that, um, if you do if you buy the hourglass packs or you buy Gold or whatever, there's a set limit that you can use to open a certain amount of packs in a day. So they have that in there.
yeah,
Plus the game is completely 100% playable without the premium perks.
yeah.
I did the premium trial,
Same.
and I think I did 1 month of it. Um, had to replace my bank card
Mm,
and just never updated it, so
yeah,
it didn't go through on like the like a month or two ago. I just haven't used it since.
yeah.
$10 a month for for one extra pack every 12 hours. No.
Yeah.
Like you get some cool stuff that you have to buy with your points, like with your,
Yeah.
tokens and stuff like that, but none of it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the my opinion, none of
Mhm.
it's worth it. And it's not a game breaking feature.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's just not. You just get like a little bit of an extra boost, and that's it.
That's fair. So let's talk about one of Xbox's other titles now, which is Call of Duty. They announced a new collaboration, and this one seems pretty cool. Again, I don't think it's going to draw me back to the game, other than when I play zombies with Roger. But this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab, which has been kind of like leaked for quite some time. People were in the code and saw all of the weapons already, the melee weapons from the different turtles. And it's like right around the corner. Don't get to really see much there in that trailer, but um, it'll be here before we know it, and more money that you get to spend $20, $30 on bundles instead of just fixing the game. But here we are. All right.
Still no word on the anti-hacking.
Nope. Yeah, the anti-ricochet or whatever the fuck program they got, it isn't working to save its life.
Ricochet anti-cheat that you could uninstall and you would never be able to tell the difference.
It's all bad. So we're going to chug along on this negative choo-choo train because moving on to PlayStation news, the servers were down again, but this was for another very very extensive period of time, for at least 24 hours, just about. Um, and PlayStation, all they decided to give was for PS Plus subscribers 5 extra days of service. And I was kind of having issues when they came out and announced this because I was like, one, that is some bullshit. Two, what about all your PlayStation users that aren't subscribed to your platform, that play on your platform, because you don't need it to play on the platform, right? You can play Fortnite, you can play Roblox, you can play all those games without PS Plus. What did they get out of this? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. And that shit really irks my nerves because back in 2011 or whatever it was, when that their first major outage was, what they did when they finally got back online, they gave away free games because they realized what happened was fucked up. Like, that's more substantial than giving somebody 5 extra days of service and say fuck all the other players who aren't subscribed to my platform.
Yeah, that was the equivalent of a pizza party, but like they only bought two fucking pizzas, and so like everybody got like they had to slice it real thin, just the width of a pepperoni, just to make sure everybody got a little piece. Yeah, it's stupid. But then again, devil's advocate here. It was down for 24 hours, so like, what would we expect? It, I agree that this was 100% not enough,
Mhm.
and this was ridiculous. 5 extra days of service, but what would be enough at that point?
Mhm.
Like, because
I think
I
free
mean,
games is admirable to
free games is fine and admirable, but every time something happens, they just shit out free games. They're already financially fucked. Like, are they just gonna start shitting out games? Like,
just give
I
everybody
feel like
Concord.
I feel like 5 extra days of service. It's not great. It is not great by any means. But like, it's not like, oh, PlayStation Network was down for 24 hours. Here's your free fucking PS5. Like, no.
No,
Like,
no, no.
yeah, so at some point there has to be
How
a
about you just give
proportion, like
everybody a month?
a
Everybody.
proportionality. Yeah, a month for a day, a proportionality.
But then,
I
because
mean,
you think about the long term effects, like maybe those people that don't have PS Plus, now they have PS Plus for an entire month, and then they forget to fucking unsubscribe, and now they're paying monthly, or they realize that the service is actually worth I don't know how much it is per month. I pay for the highest tier; it's like 20 or 30, and yeah, it is what it is.
that's predatory practicing, and congratulations on your SEC investigation.
No, honestly, but a lot of companies, they have to like disclose. They have to like give you a heads up, like, "Hey, your trial is about to end. Do you want to
Yeah.
cancel or do you want to confirm your subscription?" Thank God, but that was very predatory. Like, that's why a lot of companies, when they move to subscription services, were okay with doing that because they know most people were just not going to cancel it because they forgot about it or whatever. At least they got one more extra month out of somebody because they're like, "Fuck, I forgot to cancel it, and I got to deal with another month," and then hopefully I remember it. But I have a reminder to cancel Apple TV Plus or whatever the fuck it is. I have to cancel it tomorrow so I don't get charged. Like I set a reminder on my phone to make sure I can cancel
Yeah, we have a reminder for YouTube TV
it.
because it was the only way to watch the Super Bowl. It wasn't on.
Oh wow,
It wasn't on Paramount Plus as a local channel. It wasn't on ESPN Plus.
interesting.
It was only on fucking YouTube TV. Which don't even get me started on that because
That's weird.
thankfully I have so many email accounts because I had to download and start a new free trial for Fubo like 4 times. And it all started with the Philly Pittsburgh game, which is 2 Pennsylvania teams, local teams,
They couldn't play on local
and
channels.
and they didn't play it on local television. And instead my Paramount Plus and my CBS had the Bills Detroit game. And I was just so pissed
It
off.
was about the ratings.
Anyway.
There was going to be more people watching the Bills and Detroit game, but yeah, I understand. But yeah, man. So moving on, actually, in regards to the being PlayStation shut down, funny enough, Krispy Kreme of all companies capitalized on this. They were like, you can't play your PlayStation, so you might as well come to a Krispy Kreme and get a free donut from like 4 to 7 or something like that. I was like, smart fucking. It's like social media, the marketing, like perfect. Why not?
Oh yeah, Krispy Kreme coming in just absolutely clutch, and you fucked up when Krispy Kreme is giving is giving out better things for your system being down.
Right.
I
Might as
would
well
I
give me
would
free
much
donuts in 5 service days.
if you gave me 0 extra service days and a Krispy Kreme donut, I'd be like, that's fine. Krispy Kreme donut's good.
That's fair.
I'll just handle that. That's good.
I wish we had a Krispy Kreme in the area.
Mm.
It'd be nice.
Okay.
We have to get the unfresh ones at the grocery store. But nonetheless, we got 2 more major things to cover with PlayStation. Their financial report finally came out, and this actually was some big news for them. Because it seems like they're succeeding, which I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it and make sense of it. But they have finally have sold, not finally, they have reached 75 million consoles shipped. This is in line with the PS4 at this point. 9.5 million consoles in this quarter. It's the second best Q3 on record and their best quarter ever for the PS5. Hardware was up 16%. Game and network services were up 12% year over year. Operating income profit jumped 37%. PS5s, there were 20.2 million shipped in 2024, the second year in a row to ship more than 20 million. PS4 peak was 19.5 million in 2016. 42% of PS5 buyers were brand new users. Monthly active users went up 5% at 129 million, the highest in PlayStation's history. Planning to release more family-friendly games following the success of Astro Bot. PS5 Pro helped build bigger than expected momentum for console sales, said Totaki. Sony overall revenue increased 18% to 28.6 billion. Operating income was up 1% at 3.05 billion dollars. And that was the tweet from Shinobi, basically just giving like a summarized version of their entire financial report. And why I'm trying to wrap my mind around this is like, what has PlayStation really been giving us, first party wise?
Well, they stopped giving away free games when the PlayStation Network went down.
No, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it. Like they have had basically next to nothing to offer us, except for third party exclusives that shouldn't even be exclusive, because we're just damaging the games industry with those. But nonetheless, they have not really offered us anything from first party other than Astrobot, and honestly. So I'm just trying to
Yeah,
put
it's
my like
weird.
Xbox has released more first party games on PlayStation than PlayStation released first party games on PlayStation. And it's just I
Yeah.
can't wrap my mind around it. But then they're like, Xbox is failing, Xbox is doing this bad, and I'm like, I can't figure it out.
It just seems like a weird paradigm shift,
Mm-hmm.
especially here at the Press Start podcast because we love taking our Sundays and just bitch about PlayStation. Um, we love it's one of our favorite pastimes, honestly. So it's a little weird to see that, but I mean, good for them,
Yeah.
obviously. Like we wish you success. Um, but it's just weird because it's like
All of the news we cover.
nothing of note comes to mind that would have caused that, except for just jacking up prices and only giving away 5 days when PlayStation's down.
Yeah, I mean
It,
all of the
it was
news we
Krispy
cover.
Kreme. It was Krispy Kreme.
So like, how we go week after week after week of just covering nothing but bad news with PlayStation. Every once in a while, there's a golden apple in there. It works out. But it's like I don't think it's enough to generate like these numbers. Like, what is Sony doing to 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 make it happen? Because I just don't get it. Like, I know it's like that brand loyalty. There, like it's just like Apple. Everyone knows I'm an Apple fanboy, right? But like Apple hasn't done anything with the iPhone like that was so revolutionary in quite some time. Like I'm literally on the iPhone 13. I'm an iPhone fanboy who used to upgrade every single year and have not upgraded in about 3 years.
Off topic, my man. Is that a caseless phone? Are you just
Always,
raw dogging that with your?
always,
You're just
always.
raw. Do you even have a screen protector on that thing? You're just out
No,
there just you're just letting the wind and shit hit
everything.
that. Like you're just letting
It doesn't
everything. You just
matter.
let it all.
I
You
pay
just
for
let it all hang out.
insurance. I pay for insurance on my
You just
phone.
you just let it all hang out. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah. We were
can't
in
can't believe
South
that.
Carolina last year and knocked my phone off the shelf and it shattered my screen. Well, big deal. Came back to Pennsylvania, took it to the shop, got a new screen. Off I went, like for free. Like I don't really care what happens to it. Like I love the design of the phone, how it feels. I have cases in my drawers here. Don't use them. Like I just think that they're too bulky. They don't really do anything for me. Um, some of them I put a case on if I want to put my leather case on, make it look fancier, nicer, depend on the occasion and stuff like that. But
Dress up on a date night.
but
Put
yeah,
your put your leather
ha-
case on and just
half the time it's
yeah.
it's naked, it's bare, it is what it
Just
is. It's
fucking
comfortable.
straight raw dogging that, man. No jacket, no coat, no nothing.
Yeah, everyone's
Oof.
like, "You're crazy." And I'm like, "For what? I pay for insurance. Otherwise, why am I paying for insurance? To not use the insurance? Like that's
Mm.
just pointless." But yeah, man. But let's circle back here to Sony, man. I just can't fathom or understand how and why they're continuing to be successfully financially when they're not doing anything at all. Like they're literally just releasing remasters and remakes and then giving us one game every couple of years and then signing all these like third party agreements that eventually come to PC anyway and then later to Xbox. So like
Um,
I can't see the success
maybe
behind this.
maybe there's things that we've missed.
Yeah.
Maybe like because like we just said, we've always been reporting on PlayStation, and it's just been a shit show over PlayStation for a while. And maybe there's just things we've missed.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but having a little bit of confirmation bias, just be like, oh, would Sony fuck up this week, and then
Yeah.
just only looking at
But it's
that.
so crazy. Like I listen to like
Yeah,
official podcasts for PlayStation and they're like, another bad week. Man, like we're about to cover the state of play and everyone who I listen to, they're like, man, I was just like an okay to bad another state of play. And I'm like,
mid at best.
I'm just which let's segue right
Mid
to
at-
it because man, I watched this show live. I actually got off work at 4:30. It started at 5, so I got to watch the whole thing. And I got to the end of it. I'm like, okay, there was a couple good things in there, but a lot of the stuff is coming multi-plat. Like there wasn't anything like really exclusive that had me like, ooh, except for like the end cap show game, which was Saros, which is the new game from the House Marquee, which are the developers behind Returnal. But nonetheless, let's kick it off here with they had Monster Hunter Wilds. This is really just an update, and because the game releases in about 2 weeks, but they announced like the first content update. This is the returning legacy monster called Mitsuni. I probably butchered that one all the way, but it's like someone pointed out they were like, why
Mizutsune.
the the game's not even out yet, and you're
I
announcing.
watch a lot of anime. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, the game's not out yet, and you're already announcing content updates. You're like, maybe that content should just came with the game at
Yeah.
launch. So that's a bit weird. But that's not even a PlayStation thing to complain about. That's a Capcom thing. But Capcom was kind of hitting with this one, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. This one's coming out August 28th later this year, and this is bringing back the old time classic Shinobi franchise, and this is awesome to see because this is another one of those like side scrolling ninja beat 'em up games. Like we're getting a new Ninja Gaiden side scrolling game later this year, so like it is the return of the OG ninjas.
Oh, I know, and responsible for one of the greatest songs of all time, Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja by Lost Prophets. Don't look into them. Don't,
Don't do it.
don't, don't do that. Don't just separate the art from the artist, please. Um, But dude, this is fun. When I saw this, I was like, "Yo, Shinobi, like, might maybe."
Yeah. So that was an exciting announcement to see because we know that Sega, or Sega, right? Yeah, Sega, announced this a while ago. We just didn't see what it was going to be, stuff like that. But here we are. Next up, we saw Sonic Racing Crossworlds. This was really just another trailer and announcing that there is a closed network test starting on the 21st, so in about 5 days. Um, Next, we got surprise announcement for Digimon Story Time Stranger. Glad to see another Digimon game. This game's multi-plat, so it's coming to Xbox as well. But it comes out later this year, and it looks pretty cool. I haven't played a Digimon game in quite some time. I believe this is like a turn-based RPG in the Digimon realm, but nonetheless, be excited to hop in. I used to play the fuck out of the Digimon World games, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those were my shit growing up on the PS1 and 2. But are you a big Digimon fan at all?
You know, I wasn't. I was not a Digimon guy. I was not a Digimon guy. I was like around the time when that was big. I was Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like all that good stuff. Like that's really what it was. I didn't do much Digimon at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not hating on it. I mean,
Yeah,
if that's your flavor, that's your flavor.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's really the extent of any Digimon for me.
for sure. Next up, we got Lost Suicide. Pre-orders are live or will be available starting on the 19th. Not much to really say on this. It's kind of reminded me like Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn game that I played earlier last year. I think it was. Very similar in that. It looks like another JRPG. But yeah, next up we saw Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza. They basically brought out another trailer and then said, "Hey, there's a demo and that will be going live on Friday." So that was this past Friday. So there's a demo available now. With that announcement, they announced DLC coming to Dave the Diver, which is it's Ichiban's holiday DLC, and you basically fight. It's like a fighting game within Dave the Diver. It's pretty funny. And it comes out later in April. So this next one here, anybody who's a WWE fan, maybe a little bit more exciting, but I feel like this is another cash grab or however you want to call this. But 2K has announced the island for this game, and this is really just the neighborhood or the city or the blacktop or whatever you want to call from NBA 2K, where you create a my player and you got to level them up by doing workouts, and then you can play in the rec and you can play in your my career and stuff like that just in wrestling. So it could work out, but again, I think this is just going to be another cash grab.
Well, they will stop beating that dead horse when it stops shitting out money.
Which at this point, I don't
That's it.
even think it will.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that one.
I'm still a firm believer that sports games should just be one game and then just it's a live service game that gets updates. But
100%. 100%. That's all it should have
that's
been.
another horse
That's
that we
all it
can
should
beat
ever.
till it's
It's another fucking thing that we could beat till midnight tonight, and then go into noon tomorrow.
and it's
That
never going to
sports
change.
games like the 2K series should have just been a live service. Like that's it. Things that have yearly updates that aren't to the core of the game, like just
Yeah,
make it a live service. Just shut up, make it a live service.
yeah, but they won't because
But
they know you're going to
see,
spend
yeah,
seven
they
dollars
can
every
because
year.
you're gonna spend your 80 freaking dollars regardless. So it doesn't matter.
And
Hate it.
2K specifically, you're probably spending $100 every year because you need that VC.
Mm.
So moving on though to another game, Borderlands 4 got its release date announced for September 22nd. And it also was announced that it's going to have its own special state of play from Sony, where like it can focus in on like the gameplay, the mechanics, the characters, and the story and stuff like that. They have not announced when that'll be, but that will be something coming up in the next few months. Uh, with them announcing this coming out in September, they have two other major games. They still have Mafia: The Lost Country, and then they still have GTA 6 coming out this year. So it's like if this is released in September, like I'm almost guessing like GTA has to release in like November. Like it has to make sense.
It's gotta like right before the holiday season is when I was thinking about that coming out. I don't think we'll get a summer release. I don't think we'll get anything around the time of Borderlands 4 or any other big releases. Like November, November has always stood out anyway
Mm-hmm.
in the gaming industry just because of the holiday season.
Right.
But I feel like that's just gonna be when it comes out only for the holiday season. But People have already waited X amount of years. What's another
Yeah,
4 months?
right. So next game we saw was Split Fiction. This is Hazelight Studios' upcoming co-op game. We got to see basically just as their story trailer showing the game a little bit more. The game releases on March 6th, I believe. This is from the developers from behind like It Takes Two, A Way Out, stuff like that. I'm really excited to play this game. I played a lot of his other ones except for It Takes Two. I have not gotten to that one yet, but this one looks really fucking badass. All right, so we got more another trailer for Directive 8020. This is the um a game from a Dark Horse Picture Games. So from that developer, it says the brave astronauts of Cassiopeia are embarking on a deadly mission to save humanity, but their ship is infested by an alien life form that perfectly imitates its prey. And that came from the YouTube description video. And this game releases on October 2nd, so perfect time to release a more horror esque kind of game for the horror season. I know the Dark Picture games are usually pretty good. I've never played them, but I wanted to play the anthology series that they had. This one seems more my speed because I love space. This gives me big like alien vibes, like Dead Space vibes. Like this seems pretty dope. So I might give it a go. I do got to confirm to see which platforms it's coming on. That is going to have a lot to do with it. I mean, I have a PS5, so if it's a PS5 exclusive, it's no big deal to me. Knock on like, thank you that I have the opportunity to play games wherever, whenever. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game because me with a lot of other folks are trying to understand like Five Nights at Freddy's, right, has a new game called Secret of the Mimic. There's so many different fucking Five Nights at Freddy games. It's like, what is the excitement behind these? Like, who are these games really for? Have you played any of them? Like, I've tried them. I'm like, this just ain't me, man. This ain't me.
No, it's for the hardcore fans. It's for the people that really fucking love Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
Uh, that's I mean, which makes sense if you have people that love that game that much, you can make stuff for them that so they can
yeah,
play it.
yeah. My guess is like these games don't cost a lot to develop because I can't imagine these games having a ton of like return on investment. Like a lot of players buying this game unless it's on sale or part of the PS Plus or Xbox catalog or whatever. I don't know. We see how expensive game development is starting to become, so it's like hard to see a lot of these games get almost yearly releases for something so like it doesn't have a lot of weight. I don't know. Just my opinion. Moving on to another game that has a lot of people excited for because this is like a more of like an indie game called The Midnight Walk. It's described as a handcrafted dark fantasy adventure, and it releases on PS5, PSVR 2 on May 8th. Um, this kind of gave me vibes of the game I played a couple years ago called Lost in Random. Um, Very similar art style. It almost reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas, even. But it's a lot of everything in the game is made out of clay. So it's also reminiscent of a game I already beat this year, Harold's Halibut, which is also made out completely clay, except for that was not a horror game. This is definitely a horror game. But seems pretty cool. I may or may not check it out, but it does come out on May 8th. All right, man. Moving on here to the next game. This one is called Darwin's Paradox, and this one actually caught my attention for some reason. I love the this game kind of gave me like weird vibes for like Inside, Limbo, Somerville, which we were talking about earlier. But like this time you're really just playing as a octopus and you're really just trying to escape a food factory and get back to the ocean. So the story, the concept of what's going on is very simple, but like how octopuses can like kind of camouflage and blend into their environment and stuff like that is obviously a major factor into how you play the game. The art style looks pretty cool as well, but I'm going to be on the lookout for this and might give this one a go. I really wish Roger was here to talk about this next one because I know he's such a big fan of this series. But Warriors Abyss, it's a new game for like the Dynasty Warriors like um um John franchise, and this one shadow dropped actually at the state of play, and it came to PS4, PS5, and I think other platforms as well. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also free to play, um, and it's a roguelike experience for the Warriors game. So you're just battling like tons and tons and tons and tons of enemies, like endless amounts of them, and just trying to get like high scores. And there's like 100 different characters that you can play as. Like there's a lot of content going into this game. Um, so nonetheless, yeah, I definitely want to wrap with Roger and see what his thoughts are on this game and if he's going to give this a go. But are you a big Warriors fan at all? Is this going to be something you give a go?
Haven't really messed with it much. Haven't really messed with it much. and just kind of left it at that. A lot of times when Dynasty Warriors came out, it just wasn't available to me, so I just kind of didn't do anything with it. But I am interested to see Roger's take and see if this is something that is available for me to play on the PC
It looks like it is. Looks
and
like
go
it's
from there.
multi-plat, so PlayStation, Nintendo,
Is it multiplayer?
Microsoft, and
Nice.
Steam. Yep. So it's across the board. Looks like it's not free to play. My apologies on that.
Ooh, boo.
Yeah,
Let's check out this Stizzle and see.
but yeah, definitely different take on that franchise. All right, moving on to another
25
classic
bucks.
though, man. Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny got a actual trailer here and a release date. We're getting May 23rd for this classic. This is basically just returning with higher resolution graphics and modernized controls to perform Isan critical counterattacks and intense sword play. Excuse me. So yeah, man. I mean, like these ninja samurai games, man. It's the year of them. Get on
Yeah,
board.
seeing Onimusha on the list, I was like,
Yeah,
throwback? I was like, what?
yeah, I mean, I've been playing the classic.
Absolute throwback?
Actually, don't think it was on my games play this week. But I've been playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. That was a game that was shadow dropped at the Xbox's developer direct, and that's been a lot of fun. I've never played any Ninja Gaiden game, so being able to play this in the most modern tense has been a lot of fun. And then obviously they announced Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out later this year, so I got a lot to do. But speaking of Onimusha, is the new game that they had a trailer for, announcement trailer at the Game Awards, I think it was. Onimusha Way of the Sword got a first actual like trailer and has a release window of 2026. This basically debuts the new protagonist Mayamato Musashi. Probably butchering all the way, but it seems like I got that one pretty close. But this game looks pretty badass. Like it's like that hyper realistic graphics, 4K, through and through. So I've never played this franchise. I just know that it's been around for a long time since the PS2, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even before that. But I definitely remember it on the PS2. But yeah, glad to see that this is just moving forward. But speaking of a game that's been around since the PlayStation days, is Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. So this trailer actually leaked a couple of days before the event, so we got to see it. And this is the remake of the 2004 game, and it got its official release date for August 28th of 2025. And I'm really excited because this is kind of I played parts of Metal Gear Solid 3 back in the day, but this is probably where I stopped playing Metal Gear. Um, but it's awesome to see that I'll be able to give this game a go. And I never realized that Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater was actually like a prequel to all of the other ones. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, why did they remake 3 first instead of the other ones? And I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense. So, really excited for that. Were you a big Metal Gear fan? Did you play Snake Eater
Yeah,
back in the day?
back in the day for sure. And this is a proper remake remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 21 years later, it's not 2 years later after something dropped and
Right.
they're putting out a
PlayStation.
remaster already. PlayStation. But no, this is super cool. This is something that is well deserving of the hype uh, behind it,
Mm-hmm.
because the Metal Gear Solid series, just in general, yeah, I mean that's a huge flagship for PlayStation, and this is a really good part out of that entire series, and seeing that remake is
Yeah.
gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I'll be picking this up on the Xbox. Thankfully, that's coming there as well. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this because like I have so many memories of playing and beating 1 and 2 with my dad. My dad was not like the biggest gamer, but he always had like the Game Gear, or he had the PS1 and the PS2. Like he was the first person to get all of this stuff, and obviously I played a shit ton of it, as well. But yeah, I mean, I remember beating like the first Metal Gear game, and like you got the option of get like the Bandolore perk, so basically you had unlimited ammo. The other one was the stealth one where you like turn invisible. You could just like run around the
Mhm.
entire map and they have no idea you're there. And I remember just doing that like over and over and over, and just knocking on shit and just running around the guards and just doing stupid shit in that game. But yeah, moving on to 2 was a lot of fun too, man. So many memories. Obviously, that one pissed off a lot of people because you got to play as Raiden and stop playing as Solid Snake, and that was very controversial for its time. But I think it's also a really great game. All right, man. Moving on to another game. Hell is Us got its release date for September 4th. This one is tackling a bleak topic called saying the demons known as humankind. So it's a very interesting trailer. Go check it out if you have not. But man, let's talk about probably the highlight of the entire show for me. Lies of P got its DLC announced called Overture, and this is a prequel DLC for the game, and it's coming out for PS4, PS5, and obviously all the other platforms that Lies of P is on. Um, I don't think it has an official release date. I wrote all this stuff down in like a notes app that I was using, but I don't believe so. But nonetheless, I believe it comes out later this year, and I'm gonna hopefully dive back into Liza P and get through this DLC because I love me some Liza P, man. That was a 10 out of 10 when I played it. All right,
Yeah, I was wondering how long it was gonna be until you were like, I can
let's go.
Liza P Overture. Let's go.
Let's
Let's fucking
go.
go.
So the next one here called Dreams of Another. This one was really really interesting. This is coming out of a developer called Pixel Junk, and it says a game that turns the third person shooter on its head to build rather than destroy. And like you basically create dreams by shooting them with a gun, and it changes the entire scene of what's happening. Like it's a very like Inception like kind of fucking game. Um, it seems really interesting. I'd be curious to see how it plays out when it does drop. So if you have not seen that trailer, go check that out. But we were just talking about games, how there's time for a remaster, there's time for not a remaster, and here we are. Days Gone is getting a remaster game that just released on the previous generation. So Days Gone remaster is coming to PS5 on April 25th. If you already have Days Gone, you can upgrade for $10. I don't know why it's not free, like PC and Xbox do, but here we are. I've never played Days Gone. It seems pretty cool. I love the zombie apocalypse genre, so maybe this is my time to hop in since I never played it, but we shall see. Have you played Days Gone before at all? No.
I have not. I have not.
Oh, good. So moving on, Stellar Blade is getting a DLC called "In Goddess of Victory." It's a Nikki DLC coming to PS5 and Windows PC in June. So anybody looking to continue to play that wonderful game, more DLC is on the way. Blueprints, a genre-bending, atmospheric, architectural adventure where you explore an ever-changing manner of 45 shifting rooms, was announced with a debut trailer. Coming to multi-platform as well. Another indie game. So I can't wait to play this. This actually looks really fucking dope. Um, so be on the lookout for that. Abiotic Factory was another game that was showcased here. It is in early access on Windows PC and will release on console this summer. This is also a day one to Game Pass release when it does come out in the summer. So shout out to that. Next one here. This one was kind of on the internet for a little bit because they were like, "Man, what is this game?" This is like first time I've seen it. It's called Tides of Annihilation. This is the quote. It says, "When the streets of London are engulfed by an outworld invasion, the only survivor, Gwendolyn, discovers a mysterious power to command the legendary Knights of the Round Table." And that came from the YouTube description from the official video. It says, driven by vengeance and the desperate need to save her sister, she embarks on a high stakes journey across two worlds, a shattered modern London and a mythical Avalon. Um, this game was actually one of the highlights for me from the showcase. This actually looked really cool. I love the London era, like the environment of London is awesome too. So definitely be on the lookout for this. This is, I think, multi-plat as well, not just PlayStation. Um, so that's
Yeah,
awesome to see
100%.
there.
This sounds dope.
Hmm.
This sounds cool. So it's definitely something that if it's multi-plat, I'm gonna check out.
Yeah. Next game here called Metal Eden. When the trailer first came on screen, everyone was like, "Oh, this is Marathon from Bungie," and it ends up not being that. So this is a fast-paced science fiction first-person shooter. Um, Not much to really go on from that. It was just like an action-heavy trailer. So let's see if it succeeds or not, or if it's just one of those just another game that just goes by the wayside. So moving on to another game that was a highlight to me is called Mind's Eye. This isn't the first time we've seen it, but this is the reveal story trailer, and this is like AI and human greed collide in Mind's Eye. That's according to its developer, and this game has hyper realistic graphics, like sci-fi heavy. It kind of touches on a lot of things that we're kind of dealing with in today's world with AI and whatnot too. Um, but just seeing it like what the potential of like dealing with AI later in life might be. So we do really definitely check that one out. Looks pretty cool. And like I said, the game that rounded out the show was Saros. This is House Marquis' next game. And basically all we got was a cinematic trailer. Nothing to really note from that, other than that gameplay trailer will come later on this year. So maybe Summer Games Fest, we see the gameplay. That'd be my guess. But yeah, man, that was the entire state of play. Kind of ran through really quickly. A lot of trailers available on YouTube right now. Can't really show too much on the show here, but the show was all right. You know, there was probably at most to me 3 games that had me excited out of that. Other ones you're like, probably not. A lot of them like, okay, whatever. But what's your thoughts on the state of play?
Yeah, there was about 3 or 4 that really stood out, but that's kind of just generally how a lot of the reveal shows go
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. Super hype for some of them. The Snake Eater one is gonna be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be great. It's nice to see Onimusha making a comeback.
Yeah.
So that's also cool. As well as Shinobi. Tides of Annihilation sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of like the medieval, the knights, like King Arthur, like all of that, like a little bit of like mythology. So this is one I'm definitely gonna want to check out
Mm-hmm.
if it is multiplat. So there's a lot of things. I think it really came down to what games you personally enjoy,
Right.
whether or not this was a successful state of play. Um, Lies of P, the prequel. I already know you're hyped about that, and that makes
Mm-hmm.
up for anything that was announced that you didn't like.
Right.
And
That was the best
like
thing that was
100%,
announced.
like that makes up for anything that you were like that's stupid. It made more than made up for it. I think this was a pretty successful state of play. I really do. With the Dynasty Warriors, like the that franchise, getting something out of there. Uh, Onimusha, Shinobi, and then Borderlands 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a pretty successful one. Um, I I would
I just
say
wish we saw more
good a
first
good
party
a
stuff.
good 7, or I would say a good 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 maybe. But then again, I'm a lot more generous in my ratings than you are.
Very much so.
So
I'm probably giving it
very
like a
very much
5 or a
so.
6.
Yeah, you probably gave this shit a 4, and then yeah,
Liza
and
P
then
saved
went
it,
up
you
from
know.
there. Yeah, Liza P made it that 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it was a pretty successful state of play, and I think some good stuff coming out of PlayStation.
Yeah, I just wish they covered more first party. Like we had one game. I think out of everything that I rattled off was first part. Like one, Saros,
See, I'm not.
and that's it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, like you might as well
I'm
not
not. I'm
even
not
call it a
so upset about
PlayStation
that.
State of Play. Like just call it like a PlayStation like third party direct or whatever. Like call it something else other than State of Play because like what we've known from State of Plays before in the past was this is what's coming
Everything out
from
of
our first
PlayStation.
part. Yeah,
Like,
this
yeah.
this is what we have. The State of Play, State of PlayStation. But
Oh.
none of it was State of PlayStation, especially when most of that stuff is coming multi-plat. So like, you didn't really do anything for the hardcore PlayStation user who's only going to play on PlayStation. You didn't really do anything for them, you know. Or even if like,
Well, but you did though. But you did though because you just announced all the games that are coming to that PlayStation.
eh,
So it with
okay, maybe I worded it
it,
wrong. Maybe you didn't do it for the person who was on the border. Do I get a PlayStation? Do I get an Xbox? Because now I still don't
that
have a reason to
yes,
get a PlayStation.
that yes, I will co-sign that one because there's really nothing here that was gonna make you buy a PlayStation 5. It's not like they announced a Legend of Dragoon remaster, like something like that,
Like, where
which I
was
would
Ghost of
buy
Yotai? Ghost of
PlayStation.
Yotai is supposed to come out this
Um,
year. We didn't see that. Wolverine. Where's
I think,
Wolverine at? Didn't see
but
that.
those were all previously announced. So I think there's a possibility that they just decided to not have those in there because at that point it would be redundant.
But they come out. Well,
Uh,
at least we know Ghost of Yotai comes out this
yeah,
year. We have no release date. We have had one trailer, and that is it. So like, you're not really
you
doing
really hate
anything.
PlayStation. You really hate PlayStation, don't you?
Got to show us more.
Goddamn.
Like
Goddamn.
I love what Xbox does in their showcases. Like their developer
That's fair.
direct, they all four, like I would say 4 out of the 5 games were first party, except for the Ninja Gaiden, which is being published by Xbox anyway. So you would say every game that was showcased at their thing is an Xbox game. You didn't see third
That's
party.
fair.
Last year at the developer direct, we saw Square Enix show make their appearance, but that was showing like, hey guys, we're bringing Square Enix to the Xbox platform, and they're here to stay. They're not doing that third party exclusive shit for PlayStation anymore. So it's like everything was like for the gamer, for the Xbox user. PlayStation's like, we're here. We're
Here's
the
the shit you're getting. Have
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Bye.
Like I don't know. They just I don't like. I just feel like they're tone deaf. Like I feel like the entire games industry is like, where the fuck are your first party games at? And they're like, but we have this shiny thing over here that's for
We
everybody.
fired everybody. We
Yeah.
fired everybody that made them,
So I mean,
except for the one studio.
yeah,
They're still there.
yeah, Insomniac and what's the other one? Naughty Dog. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Obviously, we'll continue to follow it, but enough of me rattling shit off. Let's let you talk for a little bit with Nintendo.
Yeah, now on to some good news. Just kidding. So coming out of Nintendo, we got Pokemon Legends Z and A and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond are confirmed to still be coming to the Switch. Um, there was a lot of questions about whether or not they would only be released on the Switch 2. And that did have some people concerned just because we don't have a release date, we don't have anything like that for the Switch 2 yet. But they did confirm that Pokemon Legends DNA and Metroid Prime 4 will be coming to the Switch. So if that was a concern, it isn't anymore. Going into the service section here, Wario Land 4 was added to Nintendo Switch Online. I know at least a dozen people were really worried about that. And then after that, just looking towards the future here, we just got done with the PlayStation State of Play, but we do have Nintendo Direct coming in hot on April 2nd. And some things we're expecting to see out of that is we're going to see the Switch release 2 date. We're looking to see the price. And then we're looking to see if there's going to be launch bundles, what games are going to be coming with it, anything like that. So there will be a lot of news coming out of Nintendo on April 2nd. So I will be watching that
They need to just
for
come out
sure,
with
just because I'm
Wii Sports
curious.
Remastered. That's what we need.
Hey, if they came out with Wii Sports Remaster, I would go get a Switch 2 right now. I'll go wait in line right now. I don't even know when it's coming out, but I'll be there.
Because I didn't play it yet, but I heard like a lot of things like the Switch Sports or whatever was like, it wasn't they didn't
Yeah,
capture the same thing that the Wii Sports did. Like I literally
it
had two
wasn't the
copies of Wii
same.
Sports for some reason. Don't know why, but I had
It
two copies of
it,
it.
it wasn't the same. Yeah, it's just like it was like sugar free Wii Sports. And it was like, yeah, it kind of was like Wii Sports, but didn't
Yeah.
have all that sweet shit in it.
So definitely looking forward to April 2nd and covering that. It's gonna be a big day. Decide whether I pre-order the Switch 2 or not. So moving on, let's talk about some EA stuff again. Battlefield had a really big, excited past couple weeks. They announced Battlefield Labs, which is a new testing program. You could sign up for it and participate in like test games and content for their upcoming Battlefield game, which is slated for later this year. They did come out and say that they may have to change the release date depending on when GTA 6 does drop, because typically they'll drop in like October, November, but why sabotage your own game around GTA 6? It just doesn't make sense. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'll get a trailer playing for that here in a second. Because they just released a trailer, kind of just like it was like a maj podge of like Battlefield shit. Um, I had a couple of people that got to play it and whatnot. They're like, maybe Battlefield's back. That'd be great because Battlefield 2042 was just not it, man. Could not like it just didn't catch on. By the time it did, it was just a day late and $1 short. Um, so hopefully Battlefield gets the return to its glory days because it's been on the downhill ever since. One thing I wanted to cover here was Dragon Age Veilguard. The CEO has claimed that the game has failed due to the lack of live service, and I was like, this is weird. This is really weird because like a single player game doesn't need to have live service elements. And we do know that this game went through developmental hell where it was kind of like a live service game at first, brought in a new director, completely erased it, but like apparently the game still has like feels of a live service, but it's missing the content for the live service. And here we are. But I just think that they set the expectations far too high. Like the game still sold 1.5 million in like the first couple of weeks, so I would mark that as a success. But EA's like, no, you failed. You didn't sell 10 million copies. What are you doing? Um, I also think there's a problem with like the games industry as a whole. Like there are like thousands of games that releases every year. It's almost like the market is becoming oversaturated, and there just got to be a point where there's not going to be every game selling 10 million copies, 20 million copies, 50 million copies. It's just not going to happen. And companies like EA need to understand that. Um, But hopefully this doesn't really affect, because this is from BioWare, man. This is from one of the best studios ever to exist, and they have Mass Effect 5 in the works, and I feel like they're on a make or break period. Like they cannot lose out on this. I forgot to change over the screen there, but my camera isn't turning back on.
Yeah, you can hear me, correct?
Yeah, I
I
can
don't
hear
know
you.
what's going on with the. Yeah, I had to step away for a second, but now my camera's not coming back on.
Uh oh.
Uh, I just want to know what world did we move into where not selling 10 million copies was seen as like a total failure?
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like the game sold 1.5 million copies. How is that a failure?
Yeah, like yeah, and people loved it.
Yeah.
Like people that I've talked to have played it, they loved the game. So I don't know why they're like, yeah, it's a failure. Like we didn't, what he couldn't afford a bigger yacht. Who knows?
Yeah, it's just like
Really?
I get it that Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it was, one game of the year back in 2014, that
Hmm.
the game Dragon Age of Elgar didn't live up to that expectation that you had, but doesn't make it a failure.
Yeah,
I
and
think it comes down to what we were talking about earlier. Like game development is just costing so much, and this game kind of went through like three different iterations of what the game was going to be: new director, new everything, and like they didn't get their return on investment with all of the money that went into this game. But it's like you wanted to make this game a live service game, but then ripped it all out, and then you're like, oh, the game failed because it didn't have live service in it. It's like it shouldn't have had live service to
it
begin
shouldn't
with.
have been a yeah, it shouldn't have been a live service game to begin with. And claiming that as the failure is just it's inaccurate and it's disingenuous.
Yeah,
Like people that I know that have played that game loved it, and that's that's the mark of your successful game, right? Like you sold over 1 million copies, you sold like 1.5 million
mm,
copies, and the people who bought it, who play it, who love the Dragon Age franchise, they loved it. So like what are you measuring success on at that point?
right.
Um, yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't know
But
if you caught what I was talking about. I was like I was trying to say like the industry is like oversaturated with games. Like there are thousands upon thousands of games every year that releases that you're going to
hmm
have those one-off games that do sell 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, but like not every single game is going to do that. And so it's like you got to understand that there are only so many people in the world. There's only so much time in the world that we may not be able to get to every game. Like I'm stressing about all of the games that are coming out there over the next few weeks that I know that I'm not going to be able to get to because I don't have the amount of time to get to them. And like if this was my full-time job to just cover games, play games and do that kind of stuff, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be different because then I can spend 8 hours, at least 8 hours of a day playing a game. Where right
Yeah.
now I'm getting hour, 2 hours at most typically to play a game. So it takes me a lot
hmm
longer to get through games. So I can't play games that are 50, 60, 70, 80 hours long. That's going to take me 6 months to beat, and I've already missed 1,000 games that released. So it's
Yeah.
like it's impossible. So yeah, you
But so
got to realize.
you have to set a timer. You have to like schedule out
Yeah.
how long you're playing one game for. Oh, okay, I'll play that for an hour and a half, and then I'll switch over to another
Yeah.
game for another hour and a half, and then
Hmm.
that's already 3 hours if you even have that.
Right. As you can
So
see, a
yeah,
lot of the games
it's
that I beat over the past few weeks were smaller scale games because I knew I had to plan for the big game that's coming out next that I want to play.
yeah, you can crush them out on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Like nothing else after that needs to happen. But speaking of things that just don't necessarily mean success, heading over into the Warner Brothers game studio section here for a minute, Wonder Woman. Uh, Not really sure what's going on over there, but a new report from on Monolith's Wonder Woman video has come out, and it's claiming that the project has undergone a reboot behind the scenes and has so far costed the Warner Brothers over $100 million. And there's which sounds awful because it is, but then you hear that it's claimed that the Wonder Woman game is actually still years away
So it's only going to get worse.
from coming out, so it's only going to get worse. Um, yes, some looking here at Jason Schreier from Bloomsburg saying a video game based on Wonder Woman has struggled to coalesce, according to people familiar with the project. Early last year, it was rebooted and switched directors. The game has already cost more than $100 million, said the people who asked not to be identified, discussing non-public
Mm,
information, and is still years away from release if it makes it to market.
yeah. WB, like Honestly, if it was not for Hogwarts Legacy, they might have fucking
They would
closed
have
up
been
shop.
done. They
But
would have been done. They would have been absolutely done. Belly up, like
yeah, think
Hogwarts Legacy definitely saved the shit out of
Gotham
WB game.
Knights. Gotham Knights fucked up. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Terrible. Multiverses. Whatever the fuck went wrong with that game failed.
Yeah,
And now Wonder Woman, for some reason, it's already costing you over $100 million, and the game's years away. You're like, what is going on over there?
yeah. And that's just obviously everything after this point is pure speculation, just because it just sounds like an awful mismanagement of personnel, of whether it be like task prioritization. But how do you dump $100 million and you're still years away?
And why we're thinking
Uh,
Hogwarts Legacy, it has sold over 30 million units after selling 12 million units in the first 2 weeks, but it has also grossed over $1 billion itself. So that's why we're thinking Hogwarts Legacy for keeping WB afloat.
And it also makes sense why the CEO of Dragon Age claimed that the game failed because it didn't sell 30 million copies.
Mm,
But it's hard to compete with something like the entire Harry Potter universe,
it's not.
regardless of turf status of J.K. Rowling.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. $100 million. You still got years going out of there. That's outrageous. Hopefully there's some turnaround there, and hopefully something picks up, because that's already not looking good
Yep.
at all. It looks absolutely awful. But what does not look awful is this actual new mobile clip from 8-Bit Do. I do love that I get to cover 8-Bit Do a lot, just because
Yep.
they just make cool shit, right? They just make cool shit all the time. Like everything they make is just fucking sweet. So what this is, it's just a clip on pad for your
Yeah.
system there.
This
It's
is this is dope because I've been playing a
like,
lot of emulators for like Game Boy games on my
yeah,
thing, and like I realized that like my finger, like I can't tell when the edge of the button is there because it's just there's no button.
yeah,
Being able to clip
yep,
this on and being able to play the game that way, it works. Like I don't
yeah.
know, just makes sense.
Like these guys are just like they're just doing cool shit all the time. And I love when I see, like, when we pull up itineraries and I see 8-Bit Do, and I'm like,
I always
yeah, I'm
try to
like,
make sure
yes,
you cover
dude.
them.
I'm like, there they are doing more cool shit. Just like more cool shit. Just like, this is the stuff that we've needed. And it's like stuff we didn't know we needed until we saw it. And now we're like,
Exactly.
that's something I'm gonna buy. Yeah, they just make cool shit all the time, and I always get so happy to cover these guys and just see just the next thing that those brilliant psychopaths have made over there.
Right. It's something so niche and like so unexpected. Like I didn't know I need that, and
Yep.
now we are. Now I got
Yep,
it. You know.
100%.
All right, so let's talk about something that I didn't know that we needed because I thought it was doing just fine. But Ubisoft, at first, it was speculated for a rumor that Rainbow Six Siege 2 reveal was rumored to be at Six Siege's Invitational 2025, which actually just ended today, and we actually ended up getting the reveal trailer for Rainbow Six Siege X. And I'll get the trailer up, and it's basically like the next iteration of Rainbow Six Siege in a way. Like I don't know if it's like a new game or whatnot, but we are going to get like a full reveal coming up soon. But you figure like Rainbow Six Siege has been around for 10 years, I think already, and the game is super successful still. Like tons of people play it. This is big in the esports scene still. Um, I just hope this doesn't fall into the same category as what happened to CS:GO 2, Overwatch 2. Like we basically give you the same game, but like we reskinned it and then we fucked it all up and made it worse. But yeah, Rainbow Six Siege X Showcase on March 13th at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you guys tune into that. But if not, we'll be covering the results of that event. But I haven't played Rainbow Six in quite some time. I do know I have some friends that do still play it and they enjoy it. So, and they say that this wasn't necessarily needed. It's kind of like one of those like you say a lot of the time, Scott, is like it's a nice to have. It's just not a necessity. It's not a need to have
Yeah.
thing. But are you excited for the future Rainbow Six Siege?
Not really. I played Rainbow Six when it first started coming out. and then just kind of hopped away from it. I definitely got sucked in by Call of Duty,
Yeah.
like more and more, and that takes you away from things like Battlefield and Rainbow Six Siege and all that. And I haven't played it in a really long time, so I can't say that I'm excited. I can't say it's gonna bring me back to Rainbow Six Siege, but it is cool to see that they're still putting stuff out there, and like you said, it seems like a nice to have, not a need to have, and hopefully it's not just a fucked up reskin.
Right.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's gonna be. There's
We're talking about
not an
Ubisoft though.
indication that it's gonna be, but yeah, as I say, there's not an indication it's gonna be. But at the end of the day, this is still Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't get fucked up. Let's talk
we
about
won't
some.
know until it comes out.
Right. Let's talk about something that we also hope doesn't get fucked up. Hasbro has announced that a Magic the Gathering movie is in development, and it plans to make its own like cinematic universe for this. This was obviously going to be Roger's topic since he's huge into this and into Magic in general. But I, I mean, I'm sure there's like I think countless amounts of lore that can come of this. That's already out there, whether it's books or obviously like all the cards have different source material written on them and just like all that good stuff. But are you excited for a multiverse or not a multiverse, the MCU for Magic, the Magic Cinematic Universe?
I don't know. I'm really torn. Because I was a huge Magic the Gathering fan. I mean, I still am. I just don't really have the time to play it,
Mm-hmm.
and to just like go to draft tournaments and stuff like that. But I still love Magic the Gathering. So it's like part of that is like it could be really cool, but like how will they do it? What are they gonna do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I pulled it up here, and it's like there's not too much like I'm just looking at the fandom article here for Magic the Gathering, and it's talking about Universal, Walt Disney, Fox. Like, there's a proposed first movie here that we're talking about here now, but it's like it doesn't say exactly what they're going to be doing. I think I don't know, man, I think it could really go either way.
Yeah.
I think it would. Part of me wants to believe that it would go down the same hole that the World of Warcraft movie did,
Mm-hmm.
where it wasn't necessarily a bad movie, but it's not like I mean, I'm not going to expect a blockbuster out of World of Warcraft or Magic the Gathering. Maybe World of Warcraft more so,
Mm-hmm.
but um,
So you think it'll probably
but
be
as
more
a
like
fan
that
of
Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a couple of years ago?
Honor Among Thieves,
Yeah.
oh, literally one of my top 10 movies of all time. I
Then
fucking love
probably
that.
not then.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
That movie is so good. I love that movie. Why I wish they would do like a weird like White Lotus thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's still Dungeons and Dragons, but every movie is just a different scenario. I would
Yeah.
fucking love that. And if you're hearing me now, just do that. I'm not expecting anything. Maybe just give me a free ticket or something like that because I fucking loved that movie. So
It'd be better than the
I'm not
5 days of
expecting.
free service with the free movie ticket.
Yeah, it's much better than 5 days of free service, but I'm not expecting that out of Magic the Gathering. It depends on what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so much, like you said, so much lore in Magic the Gathering, and there's so many things that they could do and pull. So it's like,
Could they have like
are
their
they
own
gonna?
Ready Player One moments? Because like all the crossover that happens in like Magic, like they have the Assassin's Creed cards. They have like um I don't know.
I
There's
don't
all the been them crossover cards that I can't. I'm blanking on.
I don't think they would go into that territory. I don't think that they would try that because then you start getting into just some more ridiculous shit, and that's a lot of money to shit out. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you need to reference Lord of the Rings, you're shitting out money. If you need to reference Assassin's Creed, you're shitting out money. Especially when you have such a vast wealth of lore in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm really interested to see how they're gonna swing this. Like, is this just gonna be like a story of certain things from Magic the Gathering? Is it gonna be like stories from within the game, like that you already you already see and are told through the cards?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is that lore, and There's all the written lore. Like there's a lot of things they can go off of. I just don't know how they're gonna do it yet. So like I still remain like I'd say cautiously optimistic. I use that term a lot here on this show, but for good reason.
Yeah.
Because cautious optimism is always warranted when you're trying to make a cinematic universe
Yeah.
out of a card game.
Yeah.
So
Like you really want this to succeed. It's just like you don't know how they're going to
I
get to
want
that.
this to be the greatest thing that has ever happened to me because I love Magic the Gathering. I want to be able to show my kids this and be like, oh yeah, this is Magic the Gathering. All right, now we watched that movie. Let's go play some Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering. I have my Magic the Gathering cards over here. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited to see how they do it. But I'm remaining cautious because I don't know how they're gonna do it yet, and I haven't seen much about it.
Right.
With that said, I'm still gonna watch this shit regardless.
Yeah. Let's see.
Same thing with same thing with the World of Warcraft movie. It wasn't a huge movie, wasn't a massive groundbreaking success,
Right.
but that was definitely made for the WoW players, and it was made for people that understood the lore and liked the lore, and it was fun. It was good. It was a good watch. Maybe one of these days when I get bored, I'll watch it again, but that's it. And I just really hope this doesn't fall into that same pit where it's just too niche.
Yeah. All right, man. If you want to round us out with the last topic of the evening.
Yes, for anybody here who's a fantasy football fan, we're sorry. Football Manager 25 has actually been canceled, and the devs are apologizing for what they refer to as failing their fans. This is the first time that that Sega and Sports Interactive has canceled a project, and yeah, it's just not great. Yeah, it's the first time that they've actually skipped a year since 2004. So we're looking at about 21 years of them just being on it.
Yeah, that's just like seeing like
And
one
then,
year like Madden doesn't exist or 2K
yeah,
doesn't
that'd be like,
exist.
yeah, once again, if Madden didn't do something or 2K didn't do something for a year, yeah, they've been having issues, but it looks like their biggest issue so far was struggling to move to the Unity game engine. With the player experience and the interface were actually causing a lot of problems there. So they did have to cancel, and they do apologize. It's the first time in 20 years, so I think some grace can be given when it comes down to that. It's you never want to see someone fail and cancel because of something that they just couldn't get it done. They were having too many issues, things that they just needed to call it quits for. But
Yeah.
you never want to see that. But like when it does happen, and you have the devs who straight up came out and said, "We are so sorry. We didn't want to do this, but we have to." And like you said,
Because unfortunately,
first time
this is
in
a game
over
that like
20
you
years.
can't just like delay.
Yeah,
This
it's
is a
not.
year
Yeah,
that-
it's not a delay game. You know what would fix this though? Making it a live service. However, comma.
You're not
However,
wrong, my
comma.
friend.
Yeah, that would have fixed that about 10 years ago. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see that stuff. But you know, a lot of people like you see comments and you see things in the Twitterverse or the artist formerly known as the Twitterverse of people that they're upset, but they're not like mad. They're just like, yeah, that sucks. Like we pre-ordered this, like all that, but they're getting their money. They're getting their money back. And all of the pre-orders have been returned, everything like that. They said we know this will come as a huge disappointment, especially given that the release date has already moved twice, and you have been eagerly anticipating the first gameplay reveal. We can only apologize for the time it has taken to communicate this decision. Due to stakeholder compliance, including legal and financial regulations, today was the earliest date that we could issue this statement. We have always prided ourselves on delivering the best value for money games and that bring you countless hours of enjoyment that feel worth every moment and every penny you spend. With the launch of FM 25, we set out to create the biggest technical and visual advancement in this series for a generation, laying the building blocks for a new era. Due to a variety of challenges that we've been open about to date, and many more unforeseen, we currently haven't achieved what we set out to do in enough areas of the game, despite the phenomenal efforts of our team. Each decision to delay the release was made with the aim of getting the game closer to the desired level, but as we approached critical milestones at the turn of the year, it became unmistakably clear that we would not achieve the standard required even with the adjusted timeline. And then they just go on about the rest of the cancellation, how they came to the decision, and then just once again, overall, just apologizing to everyone who was looking forward to the game, everybody who who did pre-order the game, and just it's not a good feeling all around. Yeah, it's not something that they're probably very particularly proud of.
Right.
But once again, I really want to nail that. First time in over 20 years that they've missed a game, and it's because of new engines, new engine, new problems, right? So you start moving into that entire new realm, you're gonna start having some issues, and maybe this will be that growing pain year, and hopefully they'll be able to come back. They'll have the Unity engine, all set up for them going into the next year, and they'll be good to go. KK.
Are you blowing him a kiss? How sweet. All right, man. Any last comments or remarks before we close out this week's episode?
Yeah, I fucking really loved the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, man.
No, that's it. That's it for me,
Awesome,
man.
Cool. So we do want to thank everyone who came through and checked us out live today here on Twitch, and anyone does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But Scott, where can the community find you at?
You could find me here most Sundays. Out of that, you can always find me on Discord, Scubby1. And then that's really it. If you ever want to see what's going on in my personal life, see what I'm up to, you can always find me on Instagram as well at Scoby1. You can see a lot of pictures from a really great date night I had last night with my wife. And you can always see all of that unfolding in real time.
Hell yeah, man. And everyone, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin' _. Threads is Mr. Never Chillin'. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin'. And Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on the show. And I have not streamed in quite some time, but I do have a Twitch at twitch.tv / Mr. Never Chillin'. So hopefully I can get back into doing some streams. But we do want to thank everyone again. And until next week, peace.
Restart podcast.